So I would think it has to connect to a paved road, and I guess if it goes and stops on gravel, that happens all over the place. But we don't need a section of paved road, gravel, that's not good for anybody. Yes, it's the political fallout that could happen, and that's where you guys have to take that, and be able to deal with it as to why are we doing it here if we don't allow it here, kind of thing, and I don't think that needs to be a policy or standard that.
I don't think you're
Waivers.
gonna have a bunch of people come in from other parts of the county wanna do this.
Probably not. I do know of one other that's asking.
It could be an out because that's a subdivision back in there. So it's low speed compared to a 55-mile-an-hour road. And somebody wanted their space in front of the place. That's a big difference.
Well, and again, I would never entertain
Maybe
like
in
just
front
a
of us,
piece. Yeah, it's got to connect.
connect to a
Yeah.
paved road, but again, people paving from a paved road to their driveway, to just past their property line on a gravel road. That opens, we haven't done that in the past, and that opens that whole can of worms.
It was done 5 years ago. Sellers North on Woodbridge, right up to their,
Up on the hill.
yeah,
Yeah,
right to
that
their
was-
garage, and it was stopped. And that has held up better than the rest of the road.
We had a problem with washouts on that one.
Yeah.
That's why we paved that thing.
The Monte Carlo, what we're talking about, it's a big problem with washout every single year. You guys have never gotten the call for the washouts because Blaine has dumped gravel and spread it myself and built that up. You've never got one call. I have always taken care of it. All the time. Which is probably not, the best thing to do with the county, but never had a complaint on it, and all the neighbors seem to enjoy the handiwork that I've done there. And it's never caused a problem with flooding or anything of those issues. They built a new pole barn down at the bottom, and it's always held water there where they built that. I mean, who builds a pole barn in the lowest part in a bowl? And so.
But that's also, sorry for interrupting, but that's also one of the issues we'll have to deal with, because part of that drainage goes there. And so we'd have to deal with that property owner and put a catch basin in and get it piped over to where it goes to the lake. And again, I think the association or whoever it is.
There's no
That park.
association. Oh, the park, that's just,
It's kind of like an easement to get.
yeah, there's
water to the lake.
there's kind of like a community area there. The last association lost rights to it, and now a new LLC has a small group of people, and they're maintaining the mowing of it, but no one really owns it. But
So we'd have to run some kind of a drainage from that catch basin to that to get it to go out to the lake. And that would help the guy that built the pole barn there too, but that's all gonna have to be part of that whole plan.
and that's always needed to be done, because it's always held water there, so.
To me, it sounds like there needs to be some engineering done. And a plan on who's doing what, who's paying for what.
I agree.
And before that,
So there's a couple things in our match policies that could apply.
correct,
It could be, if a contractor's doing it, it's 100% on the match, the township, the resident, whatever, it's just, whatever that contractor's bill is, they pay for it. And we can do it that way. It can be, if it was, say like under the match program where we're providing something, then we could provide the labor and equipment, and the match is all the materials, all the asphalt, all the gravel, any tubes, that kind of stuff. So I believe it could probably fit under either one of those. It's just a matter of how it gets done. To get it done quick, it would have to be a contractor. To get it done with our labor and equipment, that could take longer.
a next year project maybe.
Or multiple years to do part of it.
Correct.
And again, it's,
I
You
guess
could perhaps do the ditching and dirt work, drainage work this year, the balance of it next year.
Unless you just wanna contract it all done and get it over with.
for speed, that would be the best.
I'm assuming that full contracting wasn't in that 75,000.
Probably not, no.
The what contracting?
Full
Full
contract,
contract.
Oh, right.
contract everything.
How much is it gonna be the engineering cost? Approximately?
We don't know, normally engineering is 10%. Whatever the project is, figure 10%, that's what it's gonna cost you to have it engineered. Now, in that setting, a contractor wouldn't have to worry quite so much about, all the temporary traffic control and all the little things that go along. That's a very, very small spot that you could actually even close it off and it wouldn't affect anybody but him, because everybody else can still use the other part.
have a different
But-
access.
Must have different access
Yeah,
beyond.
yeah, it's just
It's a horseshoe.
It's a horseshoe with a stub off of it.
Is that not fully on
No,
our map
it
here?
wouldn't be on your map there, but like I said, it literally makes a horseshoe with a stub coming off.
Oh, must be like one of these, where are we here, this one, it's on this map.
So it's
And I have a good engineer.
Yep.
There isn't two stubs,
This
it's
one
just
right
one.
here?
I have a good engineer that I use,
Okay,
a road engineer.
So it's not much, but. I mean, somebody could come to us with an engineered plan and we approve it and let them do it by their plan and just inspect it. But I'm sure Heather's listening and gonna be texting me. But that's why there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of possible political fallout that I want you guys to be well aware of, and if you want us to try to move forward and figure something out, we can. But it's all,
well, I would think the other concern somebody would have in this process being done by the road commission is that your position is gonna be a new hire come November. And things change when new hires come in, it just does.
Unless he wants to sign a 2-year contract.
So,
I don't think his wife will allow him to do that.
even if I would, my hand would be broken.
so I mean, I think that's part
Sure.
of the thought process also, whereas if you did it under contractor and just got it done, it would be done all at
It'd be
the
done,
same.
Where I kinda came in right at the end of the whole Lake Diane thing.
Thank God.
And that was even a nightmare for me, trying to come in at the end of that, you know.
Right,
And I know you guys had to hold your hair out over all
That was
that,
a nightmare.
right.
but, and that's why I wanna avoid pulling any more hair. So that's,
Mark and I appreciate that.
no. Mike doesn't worry about it anymore.
Right.
It wasn't even your fault, but
Uh,
going to the meetings down there, it's all your fault.
Yeah, I know all about
And I
that.
just shake my head and say, they have nothing to do with us. So, I spoke up on your behalf, not that it
Thank you.
made a difference, but
So I guess it's, what's your pleasure, what direction would you like us to go? Do you want us to go in any direction?
I think if I were in Blaine's shoes, I would want some kind of an estimate of what this project is gonna cost if we contract the whole thing.
can I bring in a
Sure.
couple of contractors and get a couple of engineered estimates?
We
To
would have
do
to
it
do a
properly.
closed bid.
The only thing is for that kind of thing, because it's a certified road, it's a road that we're having done, that would have to be done with a closed bid,
Sealed bid.
a sealed bid. So we would have to put out a spec saying, this is what we want done, and let people bid on it.
And then open.
Which he could get the engineering done and then put that out for the specs.
Yeah, we could,
Who pays for the engineering?
I would expect
Yeah,
Blaine or whoever.
I-
And really, at that point, when I say engineering, it'd be like an engineer drawing, or say, this is what we intend, or you
these are the
intend to want
specs,
done.
this is the area
And then
involved.
we would look at that, make sure it fits what we require, put that out for bid to everybody, and see who gives us the lowest bid.
Okay.
So there will be, anything over 15,000, we have to have a
And
sealed
anybody can
bid.
bid it,
What's that?
anybody can bid it.
Yes.
So I just have to get the information out to the people and then,
We'd have to tell them, we gotta do certain, for the ditches, the base has to be whatever, the 6 inch, 2 inch lifts, the drainage, put all that into a bid, basically, and then send it out to everybody.
okay.
Just don't use the engineer who was used on Lake Diane. That was a nightmare. They didn't help me much on that, so.
No.
We'll see.
That doing a small portion of the chip and seal, is that a big deal?
On Lake Diane.
On
So
East
he's
Diane,
talking about East Diane,
I
That's
think
if
we need to do
Amboy
it.
signs it.
We need to do it all. And
No.
they're gonna think that, this is their theory, oh, we're gonna go and crack seal. No, we're not,
No,
you know,
I already know
well, that's what
what they're
Doug is
saying.
wanting.
yeah,
He's wanting crack seal,
yes,
and then maybe chip seal next year.
no, we're gonna chip seal this year.
But they have to
But that has to
pay.
be a
They
Yes,
township
that has to be a
contract, so if
township
Amboy does it, let's say he's like, okay, I'll pay, I'm just guessing, 25 or 50% of the material, I would have to do, okay, Amboy's gonna pay 50% and then Blaine will pay 50% or 25.
And I wouldn't even want that, I would
No.
say, I would
I
expect
I
them to
don't
deal
think
with the township.
Would you?
So if the township wants this project done, this is what it's gonna be.
Okay.
Now, Blaine gives them half of it, they only have to put in,
That's the whole road. They,
Or like
that being said, he shouldn't have to chip in on that.
he doesn't have to,
You
he's
know.
saying he will.
For my
I know,
portion, just get it started.
or whatever you in the township agree on for the dollar amount for you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing,
I think what you're getting at is you'd rather not seal like the road stop.
Nope.
Cause no matter whether you say you pay for it or not, that's gonna be the town, or the commission,
That'll be
all
the
yeah. And so if we can get all road done, and what we're gonna spend on this, to get to the township, to do the whole part of the road. Then I think it should, but I don't know about
okay. And how much is mine?
really $46,000.
About 1 month.
1.1, 1.2-ish.
So I had different meetings with the township, and they seem to be on board. There's, well, Doug Whitler was, you know,
He was gonna be here today, but
Yeah.
he backed
of
off.
course, he showed up to the meeting and said, no, we want crack seal. And I'm like, that's not the way this should
I
be.
see you was.
But I'm not arguing with the guy. I mean,
So there is a couple spots, and I'll acknowledge there's a couple spots on East End that we gotta cut out
and
and
he's,
repave.
yeah.
And then the chip seal would blend that all back together. But
Would Sellers Road, is that a different
it'll be a
road?
different contract and a different price, but it can still be done like that.
Okay, and that's still half with the township too,
Yes.
or the Sellers part of it? Okay, I was just curious because
Yeah, that's still a local road. That
in
requires an
regards to that. I think the chip sealing of agreeing with, the chip sealing, the entire thing would be the best
Yeah.
alternative. And I think it would really quiet down a lot of it, because a lot of people just don't even understand what the chip sealing means. And a lot of the problems that are existing right now are just gonna disappear once that's done.
You chip seal it, fog seal it,
Yes.
to make a nice road.
Some of what Doug Whitler's complaining about, there is some, like on the sides where maybe the base wasn't perfect all the way, and that's where the permazzine comes in.
Breaking up.
And it's just kind of like, I would call it scallops. every once in a while. There is some cracks, but the emulsion of a chip seal will fill those cracks on the very first
Right.
coating. After that, those cracks will reflect back up through after a few years. Once they reflect back up like that, that's when you use the crack sealer, because that bridges. If we bridge it now with crack sealer, that's gonna be a void that's empty, because that doesn't go down in there. The emulsion will go down in there this first time, then you can crack seal, if that explains why.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we need to go in there and crack seal any of it. We need to replace a couple spots, but go in and chip seal it the first.
And he did a fine job on trying to explain to them, you know, the process and what that means to do that. And then the question came up by people in the audience, they're like, so we paid for this road, it was supposed to last 10 years. And then Bob explained that no matter how good a road is, depending on Michigan winters, you can have cracks the next year.
Mhm.
And they were just blown away, they couldn't understand
It should
that.
have been seal coated 3 years ago.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes,
Concrete's guaranteed to crack.
I mean,
So with that, I guess we can go back with ask the township if they want to do a contract for the whole thing, and let them know to contact you if they want to partner with you for the payment.
okay. Well, that's all gonna depend on this Monte Carlo thing, cause
They have so many
I'm
dollars.
in the tree business, but I haven't seen any dollars
Everybody
on the
down there
tree
says
itself.
you grow it.
Yeah, money on trees. Yeah,
I never even seen any trees out there.
yeah. Might be because I work 24/7 that I'm able to.
I think I could lean toward Monte Carlo if it was 100% contractor. That pretty much leaves us out.
Okay.
But I think there's some work to be
Yes.
done to
Oh,
get there.
there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just to be done, but
I wanna see a plan.
I just wanted to get your input,
Mhm.
and so everybody's right up front as the,
Is there a spec sheet that you guys have that could be printed off that I can give to my
yeah, we can come up with.
engineer and say, this is what we need done right now?
I wanna see how the drainage is gonna be and
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at this point right now, is there any no? If you get the information.
no, I guess I would.
I'd hate to lead him on a wild goose chase and spends a lot of money and, don't get it done.
Yeah, I just soon, but like I said, I wanna see,
Yeah, I agree.
you know,
All right, well, I guess then we will continue to try to go down that path and come up with some
figures and
specs and figures and,
a plan, and who's paying for what, and
Back in there where the, cul-de-sac and stuff is, where it comes out on Woodbridge. Why couldn't those people go together and pay that part of it and go out on Woodbridge?
and nothing goes out to Woodbridge.
Oh, I thought it ended up out there.
It's just a U shape that goes from cellars to cellars with a little stub coming off the bottom of it
Yeah.
for follow course.
So,
Now, there's a paper road in there. If you look at a plat, there's a paper road that goes there, but it's never been done. It's just trees
Don't
and.
even mention that.
okay, I have a
Yeah,
question.
I'm on both sides of that, and what I'd like to do is get that abandoned, like, Billard has done in the past.
Yeah, we abandoned some up in there, but
Yeah,
I think it was across the road.
yeah.
So on my one map, Cellar ends at Woodbridge, but on this map, it extends past Woodbridge.
Sellers
The
does,
paving,
Monte Carlo does, Monte Carlo's a little loop.
So this is still Cellar Road, it extends past Woodbridge, but it's a
Yes.
dead end.
It's gravel.
Yeah, that's gravel on that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so where are we paving that's gonna be from pavement to pavement?
Okay, I'll draw you a little.
Yeah, we don't even see Monte Carlo on
So
here.
Not
Sellers,
on that, it's on this
No.
map over here. If
so
you look-
Sellers goes here. This is East Diane that
Well,
goes down like
Can
that.
we look at this? so that it makes sense. So
Well, it
Sellers,
does, it's right there.
okay, Sellers is here.
Yep.
All right, so
That
now,
little loop that, I'm gonna draw it here,
okay,
and it comes out here, and it kinda goes this,
okay,
and that's got like a little stub off of it.
okay,
That one shows two little stubs, but that's like a little private drive, actually.
okay,
So he's got a building like right here, and it goes up, this is the top of the hill. He's wanting to pay from here about to here. And then
and this is paid.
this is paved, this
And
is wood,
people-
this is Woodbridge here, it goes gravel beyond that for Sellers.
Okay,
So this part from here, around here, and this would still be gravel. And all your people that basically live about there. There is nobody that lives here, that's all empty lots.
and this is how they can get access
Yes.
while they're doing this.
Yep.
And all of this is on which side of Sellers Road here?
South,
So if I
everything's
put
south.
this,
No, that's exactly how it goes.
and
It's
this
all
is past
This
Woodbridge?
is Sellers, this is that little thing right there.
Oh, we're on this side of it, not,
Yes.
we're east of Woodbridge, not west of Woodbridge,
Right.
is where we're talking,
Yes.
okay.
Exactly.
All right, that is what I'm trying to, okay, that is what I'm trying to visualize,
That
okay,
little bitty
okay, there's only
thing right
one
there.
stub,
There's one
not
little
two,
stub.
okay. I think
All right.
I'm in the right pew now, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm an artist.
I'm a visual learner,
So, it's
okay,
possible to do it without interrupting everybody else's day. But again, it's gonna be a political thing, or why did you pave in front of Blanton? That's what you're gonna get.
well, and
Right,
I,
wrong, or indifferent, that's what
Right.
you're gonna
They,
get.
they already know.
right, well, and the other thing is this is done by a contractor, it's 100% paid by Blaine, it's a
It's a
whole
whole
lot
lot easier to,
and a whole lot
Explain.
easier from our standpoint of saying, no, we're not using road commission dollars to supplement a personal pavement project.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about especially going 100% or 100% contract.
So I don't need 3 bids?
no, we
No,
would,
yeah,
this
we're
We're
road
just
is
still
still
gonna have
our
to
road.
go through our process,
Oh.
And
unfortunately.
anything that goes on our road, we have to have control of.
Yep.
See, because we maintain the liability for the road,
Okay,
that's why we have to have it bid out
okay,
and engineered,
yep,
And future maintenance.
correct?
It's also our
Correct, we'll be
responsibility.
maintaining that.
okay.
And then the other part, basically, that one I drew here, East Diane, he was wanting to pay the chip seal about down to there,
Right down to there,
which is kind of coming around the little pond that's there.
right.
But I think it would have to be close, that 100% of that portion would be pretty close to, you know, what I think the township would be looking for to do the entire thing. If you pitched in, they pitched in, we pitched in, under the match, I think it'd be close. But,
You're talking about on the seal coat.
yeah, still,
Yeah.
for each stand.
Seal coat.
So, but that's something that we have to talk to the township about, if they're willing to put in, say, 25%, you're willing to put in 25%, and our matches are labor and equipment for the materials, or, you know, split
Well,
materials.
don't quote that with them yet, because I gotta do the math and get this other estimates and everything,
Okay, so we'll hold off on the chip seal then,
one thing at a time. I mean, if they're,
unless the township wants to do it.
Right,
Through the township.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mention Blaine if you're gonna go to the seal until,
I usually try to avoid that one.
yeah. Then that way, if you down the road wanna kick in, that'd be different, but if they hesitated not doing it, then maybe bring it up, but I wouldn't at first.
no, and he made an impression the last month's, or this month's meeting, that it's something that needs to be done. They brought up the Woodbridge on the other side of the lake and West Diane, that started to come, so throwing money at that right now, where this over here on East Diane could be saved, that is the better road and the less expensive
Oh,
road to take care of that.
And that being said, they, Whitmer, I know he wants crack seal, but, you know, he don't work for the road commission.
And I don't believe he's an engineer of roads as well.
Right.
Not to be
Here you
disrespectful
go,
in
Kathy.
any way, just,
Heather's been listening.
Okay.
No, no,
So that is my
There
Carla.
you go.
She said a mask.
And then this is East Diane that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep, and so he was talking about paying for down like in, right into here.
Right,
And we would have to get the rest of all this done.
right, because all of this was done when it was
Yep.
done?
Yep.
Okay,
And then this part of Woodbridge has a couple spots on it.
okay, all right, thank you, I like that.
well, I will have to say, I didn't know until today that they never came to you. when they did
never, not once,
Ouch.
that. That's
Not-
crazy.
not once.
Hmm.
And when I got wind of it, they said, yeah, this is what you're gonna have to pay. And this is the footage we came up with for you. That was it. That was it. My attorney's like,
I didn't have a hard
he's
time.
like, you know, you have a case here. And I said, you know what, I have a future there, I'm just, you know, that association for 20 years was attacking me just for doing anything. They bitched about me cutting the grass. I mean, it was everything. And they took me to court for the last time, and they had to disband and go away. And they lost big time. So now they started up a new little,
With the LLC.
yeah, a good old boys club. It's basically, it's a small group that is trying to lead the people on the lake that are not knowledgeable, the political inside stuff. They're trying to let them think that there is another association that actually has control, but it has not. And Judge Smith made that very clear. So, I'm just trying to better
Go
things.
ahead.
So with that being said, I guess there's just a lot more that needs to get
Yes.
looked at.
Yeah.
But I wasn't wanting to waste any time and effort if it wasn't gonna be something that was even gonna be entertained.
Right, I agree with that.
So I can move forward, get some,
I'll work with you between me and Heather,
okay,
as to what we
Get
need
the
to.
specs and
okay.
So, that reverts me back over to East Diane and Sellers. So we have had chats and we met with Frontier day before yesterday
Yes,
about the foam pad that's there on the corner. They're not too enthused about trying to raise it, and they said it would probably be a 5-figure thing to try to raise it because they gotta extend cable, fiber. So basically, I think they talked with Blaine a little bit after I left about doing some kind of a decorative retaining thing around that and with some stones, and I'm assuming there would have to be a pipe that would take it to daylight in the ditch, for any water that could get in there. Because the only water to get in there is what could actually fall right there. There would be no water running into it. So that could possibly take care of that portion of it. And then we've talked about the remaining ditching or sloping that has to get done for Sellers and East Diane. And we're talking about a 20-foot from the road, sloping it out away from the road for 20 foot. And then he can do whatever he wants, with all that. So both Sellers and East Diane would come in 20 foot and slope down towards the pond. But where it comes around the corner, that's gonna have to be right there at that level of the foam pad.
yeah.
To sweep around that corner, and be inside of that, to sweep around the corner and have that, whatever decorative thing there.
But the main boss for, it's now Sprint, I guess, Frontier sold to Sprint. So he was out there, and he likes the idea of just doing a containment area and raising it above grade, and then landscaping around there, where they can still access it, but there won't be any water flow or, anything that gets into that hole.
I would
Except
say,
for rain itself.
when you say raise it above grade, it can only be like a block,
Yeah, a foot.
because we don't allow retaining walls and stuff in the right of way.
Yeah.
And so if we allowed something, because that's right up there at the corner, so, we'd have to
Well, they come up with
plan all that out.
a foot or whatever it needs to be. Are you understanding what,
Well, what I don't understand is how that kind of dirt work happened without, what are the proper channels and were the proper channels done? If a developer went in there and did a subdivision, that would have been all planned out as to how it would be done. And this is a process thing. Does an individual homeowner or landowner have the right to do that kind of work in the road right of way that then creates more work for the road commission to try to figure out what's going on? I don't know what the process is. I don't know what the planning is. Does the property owner have the obligation to get permits from the road commission for that kind of work? And how do we get here? And how do we not get here again? And this is exactly the question I asked earlier, is this is the same person that's created this problem, and it is. So as a road commissioner, I'm already saying, why am I dealing with somewhere else when the individual potentially didn't follow procedure the first time? What's the road commission's repercussion going forward on the other issue? So I guess
I
that's a lot of words, but.
I pulled permits with with Marty and the county in that respect to do all the dirt work, and with the DEQ, I was in touch
Okay.
with them. I explained to Bob what I planned on doing as far as removing the hills that were along the road. Now, when you drove down Sellers Road, and there's still a problem on the north side. I'm on the south side. So it was basically a gauntlet. There wasn't any ditching, and all the rainwater would come down off those slopes and then run along the road. And on the north side, it's undermining the road right now. So the homeowner dumped all kinds of gravel and stones in there to stop it. And Bob said he's gonna get out there and shave that hill down. That's how it all started, me getting rid of those hills to basically save the road that I am paying a lot on my taxes. But I asked permission.
So you did have proper permission to do that?
Yeah, well,
No,
not to my extent.
let me step in here.
Okay,
So, yes, you got permits from,
I got the wrong permits.
yes,
Yes.
you got permits to do grading work and stuff on your property. You never came to the road commission to get permits to work on the road right away. That's the downfall.
Yes,
All
that's
this,
what I was saying.
all this got
said
done
I did.
under assuming those other permits, but he never came to us. That's when all of a sudden all these things came up, and that's when everything kind of blew up.
Okay.
So now we've been working with him to try to get that shaved down to where, originally I said just no water can get up back on the road. And now to the point where he's gonna shave that down, and I know you're not familiar with the area, but one side of the road kind of just falls away at a kind of an angle like this and goes right out to the lake, or
The west side.
this side he's intending to do the same thing for 20 foot, so that it kind of match the same thing. And then at about the 20-foot mark, which the telephone poles are probably at about 15 foot, that's where he can either slope it back up, or I think you're intending to slope it all the way out to the lake. But at that point, that'll keep the water 20 foot off the road with that same kind of slope from the road on Sellers and North Diane.
So everything would slope to the pond.
And so everything will slope to the pond and go into his pond.
And the
We haven't
telephone
got there
pole is not next to the road then?
They always put the telephone poles as close as they can get reasonably to the back edge of the right of way. So 33 feet from the center of the road.
Okay,
So you got 10, 12 foot
okay,
of road, and then,
okay.
so the telephone poles are probably about the edge of the right of way, and if he slopes it just past them, we can't really ask for much more than that, but we gotta get that dirt work done.
Yeah,
And
There-
doing a
it's been muddy.
retaining wall around that telephone pole, because it is so far offset the road, it's not really in our plow area or.
Oh, no, it's not anywhere near what a plow would be, but it's right in the corner there, and we can't allow too much in that right of way. in case somebody runs off, you know.
Right,
Um,
okay,
We can't have like a big boulder or a big retaining wall sitting there.
especially if we're putting it in versus
Well, we
act of
won't.
God, a tree,
But,
well,
yes,
but what I'm saying is
people-
act of God tree had been there for 100 years
Yes,
versus this is a new structure we're putting in, we're more liable, I would
Yes.
think.
yes, you're correct,
Even if we don't literally put it in, but we allowed it to be put in.
correct. If we know it's there and we allowed it,
Right.
we're,
Reliable.
so that's where the structure has to be,
Yep.
what we agreed to, and then that ditching has to be done. And at that point, it's all outside the right of way, and his permits with Marty and all them are what takes place out there. And we don't care. Does that,
Oh, yeah,
Fair.
yeah, no, I came to this meeting, so you guys we're all on the same page. The erosion problem that was existing even before I started and moving forward is gonna be eliminated 100%.
there was some issues. This has caused other issues,
Yeah.
so we gotta move forward so yes, the proper permits weren't pulled from us. And we're trying to address everything now to fix it as well as we can. And I think if he does this, it will improve what the road originally was like. And that's what I get a lot of flack from the residents in Lake Diane about, we just did all this, and they think that they had these nice, well-done ditches and everything all up and down the roads, and it really wasn't. It was just kind of a swale that, you know, it still collected water in certain places, but it's very, very noticeable of what he's done, and it just draws everybody's attention, you know. Blaine's filled these, in which he did, down East Diane, those were filled a little bit, and so those have to get cut back out, like you said, and I think it'll, in the long run, it'll actually be better than when it started.
What it was. Anything else for Blaine? Mark? Jazzy?
A cigar?
No?
Should be the other way around.
Just
And with that, I'm done too.
work hard.
Do you have questions for me?
It wasn't done deliberately to piss anyone off, I can tell you that.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, you guys have a good afternoon. You'll get,
Yeah, probably next week.
okay, all right, sounds good. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
Thanks. Nice meeting you.
You got any questions for Bob? I've got what he told me. No. Just kidding.
I have
Sure.
one thing. So I brought this up before a couple times. So when M99 was closed to do that repair, they rerouted the traffic on Bird Lake Road and Burt Road. And particularly at that intersection of Bird Lake and Burt, that got a lot of damage, and I think the state ought to help us pay to repave that.
I've addressed it with Chris and Kelby,
Yeah,
and I don't believe there's any interest from MDOT in doing anything there, because they don't feel anything was done because of the detour.
well,
And now that intersection where you're talking the radius, that's dirt. And we've gone out there and fixed it a couple times.
no, it's not dirt, Bob. It's Blacktop Road at the corner of Burt and Bird Lake Road. That both roads are blacktop.
Yes,
And so those semis, when they were turning there, they took the entire intersection to turn, and there's lots of cracking
okay.
of that blacktop road. I saw it today on my trip to Hillsdale. And
I'll go back out again, but
I think the
we've had
state,
crews out there to fix, because they turned short. And then their semis would go, you know, like
they
short in
couldn't
there.
turn short. They had to take the whole road, either direction. They had to take the whole road. If they'd have turned short, they'd have tipped their truck over.
But when they did turn there, the trail end of their gravel trains is what they were running, the truck might have to swing way out over, but by the time that trail end of the gravel train comes through, it's over on the shoulder. And it was like digging into where the radius of the asphalt's there, they were cutting across here and digging that in. So it wasn't paved there. And there might be some cracks out in the pavement, but we've been fixing that shoulder a couple times. It's not just them anymore, it's just the way it is.
Didn't we expand that shoulder?
No, we didn't.
Well, no, cause then you start you encourage people to cut it more and more, and I'll go back out again and look.
I think the state frankly is ripping us off, because for 4 months, M99 was closed, and all of that truck traffic had to be rerouted that direction. And they ought to pay to repave at least 300 feet each direction from that intersection.
I will relook at it.
The
Because
citizens
to be honest
think,
with you, they're asking for some more detours, so.
the citizens think they ought to, pay to repave the entire 2 miles. Or a portion of it at
But
least.
can you say they did that much damage in 4 months? Or was it already there?
Some of
That's
it
the
was,
hard-
some of it was there, I would grant you.
Yep.
But particularly at the intersection where those semis turn, there's,
It's kind of like dealing with these solar companies, where did they do the damage? Or was it already there? Or was it other traffic at the same time doing the damage? That's the hard part, is proving who did the damage if you don't get like for this next one where we've got them giving us a cash bond. I don't care what you do, whether it's damaged or not, we're doing this to the roads when you're done. That's really the only way to, and MDOT will never operate on that. But I will go back out and take a look at that intersection, but
Is there any old business? Here's new business. Chair to sign the annual financial report. We don't need a motion, we just gotta sign it.
This is for the Act 51, my audit. Well, not the audit part, the Act 51.
So how are we signing an annual financial report that we haven't seen?
I can't even submit it for them to even look at it without that form. You're not approving the audit or approving any of that, that's just so I can submit it to
Submit
the
to
state.
whom?
MDOT.
So this isn't our audit,
No,
this is MDOT's annual report, and you submit that before the audit's done?
just, yes, well, it's due at the end of this month. Yes. I waited, I just got a rough draft of the audit. I don't ever submit the Act 51 until I know the auditor is not gonna make any changes. And I got the rough draft, I've been reviewing it, and.
Okay.
Okay, approve 2026 township contracts. Scipio, Allen, Wheatland, Somerset, and Ransom. Everybody sees the numbers.
Kathy, the total amount.
I'm looking at them, I'm not told it, but I'm kinda looking at it, see if it looks right.
You're a better totaler than I am.
That's what I was gonna say.
I would move we approve the,
Mike,
Mike already
Move, we
moved,
need a
you can
second.
support
I'll
it.
support it then.
any discussion?
Somerset Township, various roads, one application, the township shares only 44,000, our share, the estimated cost is 139. We're usually at least 50-50 or more on the township share, so what's going on
The
here?
contract is in there and it's not an application of Brian, it's the description.
This is
It's kind of-
rebuilding of the road
Culverts,
around Lake
yeah.
Somerset. The various
I checked the
roads,
numbers when I
the
checked
various
the
roads is a little
Okay.
misleading.
so yes, it's not an application, it's a
Yeah,
construction project.
it's
It's a
gravel and grind.
And why is the township share not a whole lot closer to 50%?
Because they're only covering the material and we're covering labor and equipment. It's the contract, Summers, it's in your stat, and she can look at it.
I thought.
A lot of times now, the match is labor and equipment versus material. Sometimes they come out paying more, sometimes we come out paying more. Depends on what it is, what the material is. This one here, cause this is pulverizing and possibly even injecting the permazyme, to get those sections of road ready next year, and so they're only paying for some gravel and maybe the permazyme. Next year, when it goes to get paved, they're gonna pay all the material,
Okay.
we won't have that much.
So this is the prep for a paving project?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
But next year.
that's all the little
They might be $1 million.
roads around Lake Somerset.
Alright. Well, see, that's why I asked
We
these
can, and
questions.
we're gonna try.
Because on the surface, that doesn't look right.
Well, you are right, but you weren't involved in that.
Well, and it's
So,
okay, I
I
don't
know.
have to be involved, but
It's
But
good.
when I look, that's the kind of stuff I look for, and then I ask questions of why
Mark?
it doesn't pass my,
I'd call it a good catch, so.
Yeah,
Mark,
he did.
that's the first time I ever heard you say she was right.
whoa.
You better write that down.
I know it.
You better write that down.
Uh-huh.
All right, we got a motion to approve the contract and support it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
No, that's been ongoing for quite a while
Oh, you know.
with the people of Lake Somerset.
I think they finally, like, all got together, like, yes, we need to do
Is
this.
that, are they just splitting it up or is it a special assessment or?
Well, the paving part hasn't been done yet.
I think the township is actually just paying for all this. I'm not sure if they're getting any money back from
Really?
the residents, but they're paying for this part of it, and
This
then they're
part
gonna
they're-
figure out
They're paying for it.
the
But-
payment.
That was always the problem, is
Well, at the
they didn't
last
wanna do this.
township
They
meeting,
fight
the
each other.
supervisors,
I think they finally got the township board and this lake association talking to each other and
Good.
agreeing on things. So, cause it got bad enough. Some of those roads are like a minefield out there, and they're paved.
Some of their, those villages for roads, they have some,
Right,
those
right.
village for roads.
I'm just glad that they're looking at doing this, cause we spend all kinds of effort and time coal patching them.
well, that's what I explained to them, it's to the point where it's a
Those are
city.
like gold plated roads for what we put in time and effort and gold coal patch, just to go back and do it again next week.
So I guess if we're talking about that project, how do we, with again, that changing of road manager, how do we ensure this goes forward as planned versus,
Cause no matter what, Heather's sitting in her spot and she's coordinating it.
all right, that, you just told me Heather can't leave us.
Well, you're gonna have to twist her arm.
I'll take care of
You hear
that.
that, Heather?
And so are you, is some of these roads already paved and you're gonna pulverize them?
They're all
They're all
Oh,
paved.
they're all, see, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're all paved and, but you would know it if you drove down.
Okay, and so
It's
you're
all-
gonna use,
All up in here, it's like on the north side of Lake Somerset, right up in here,
you
Those
use
are
this
really
hand
bad.
up in here?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're gonna use some of that?
I don't know yet. We're, actually, that vendor's gonna be here next week. Cause he's gonna be in Michigan
I didn't put that out.
and he's gonna come here and I'm gonna talk to him some more.
Okay,
But that would have to be added into the material cost, which is, I think this all totals up to like right at a mile,
Oh.
or thereabouts.
so not
So you're
huge.
talking about $9,000 that they may need to,
That might really help stabilize their bases.
and I think that is probably a place, and the purpose of what we're doing,
Right,
that's a place for it,
right.
but.
Well, and if it does well over time, again, as we pave these other small lake projects that the bases seem to be more questionable, a little more movable, maybe incorporating the use of that, if it helps, would be beneficial.
And we can just say that we're gonna start getting the Kathy buckets.
Ooh, man.
Didn't we talk about Brown Road if Moscow ever decides to grind that up to?
I would never wanna do it, even though that's what they say it's intended for. I wouldn't wanna do it unless you're intending on capping it.
Okay.
If you're gonna cap it, I would say okay. But if you're not gonna cap it, that is not a wear surface and you're gonna have a nightmare in a few years.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the discussion would be is the, depth of the nightmare, meaning is it just a light nightmare or is it,
You'd pulverize the road.
okay. So, and is that 10 years down the road? And in that 10 years, are you saving on gravel and scraping and that kind of stuff to offset the cost of repulverizing? Or whatever.
I don't know, I wouldn't wanna gamble on that myself, but
Well,
maybe you try it and see
what
if it
happens.
works.
well, and that's, I guess that's my point. Do you try that one time to see, I mean, I understand it could absolutely be the deepest, darkest nightmare ever, but maybe it's not. And part of that is having phone conversations with people who use it. I know in the little, because I happened to look through the flyer this morning before I got here. There is a township or a county in Michigan that has used the stuff on gravel roads.
There's a couple.
And so I'm curious what how long it's been down and what's their history with it and what their thoughts are on it.
Okay.
So, because then we're doing our due diligence about whether we want to maybe try that on Moscow Road if we're really gonna pulverize it, so, or not Moscow Road,
Brown Road.
Brown Road, sorry, Moscow Township, so, anyway, just my thoughts. Okay,
But I didn't bring that up to Somerset, I left that in your.
And I wanna, now that they're gonna work on doing the roads, now we need to talk to them about would they also be interested in doing it. I have talked to Tim Shaw a little bit on it, so he's not like blind to it, but.
that'd be really cool if it worked out that well.
It actually would be, especially in the subdivisions.
Right,
I think,
yeah,
you know,
around the lake.
Cause all those little shoulder cracks where the garbage truck rides over here, the bus rides over here,
Right,
and cracks that off, if you had a solid base under it, it would have no way to crack. Or now, I think it's just soft and.
I did bring that up, that if, when they do repave, that it would be a 4-inch cap from the fact that you've got your garbage trucks and your school buses, and if anybody's doing any building, you could have a cement truck in there, and I said even our plow trucks.
And I guarantee if you pull up that asphalt on almost any subdivision around here, is 1.5 to 2 inches.
Yep.
Probably max.
Yeah.
But,
And that's why it didn't hold. And the fact that it wasn't seal coated over the years.
holds the road,
those are old. I couldn't tell you when,
I
but
think they
they're,
were put in like in the 80s.
I think the original subdivision, when it was put in,
Yeah.
that's.
No, it wasn't done originally.
Well, originally it was gonna be dirt for gravel, but yes, when they originally
When
paved
I
it.
became county treasurer in 1981, it was either on the tax roll then or shortly thereafter, the special assessment districts, and they paid for the paving of those subdivisions for a 10-year period.
So if they've made it for 45 years.
well, that's my point. If they weren't, again, you're saying done cheaply, you know, and it still lasted pretty well, I mean, it's nightmare now, I get that, but it lasted a good 40 years or whatever. At some point, we taxpayers have to understand, things don't last forever.
Well,
And if you're at the end of a 40 or 45-year road, it's time to invest some more money and.
and the materials that they used in the 80s
Yes.
were better than what we use
Right,
today.
yeah, well,
Asphalt
that's,
had more,
yeah,
what they call the good stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
the
right.
Was it bitumen?
They take so much out of it in the refining process, because asphalt's just not as good as what.
it's not as good, so the roads don't last as long, hence what Lake Diane is running into.
That was that and base
Yeah.
issues, but.
Well, we've got a product we're gonna work on this.
So the people in Somerset Township around the lake, they did have one good thing going for them. that you don't have on Lake Diane. Lake Diane, you're dealing with heavy clay soils. In Lake Somerset, you've got lots of natural sand and gravel. Drainage is so much better. You know,
I agree with that.
the only lakes in this county that
And
have,
undulations to where
Yeah.
it runs.
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
the only lakes in Hillsdale County that have public sewer systems on them are the two in Amboy Township and, Lime Lake in Wright Township. None of the rest of the lakes have public sewer systems because the drainage issue is
They perk.
vastly different.
They can perk them up in
Yeah.
Lakeland and Lake Somerset. Lake Bel Air doesn't have a sewer
No.
system.
No, nor do any of the lakes in Reading Township.
The Village of Adams had a sewer system though, years ago, it was Lake Bel Air.
I heard that. All right, public comment. Anything? Yes.
I noticed on your project approvals there, did we not get we voted, same time we voted to do the stabilization, to buy 1,000 tons of limestone, and I didn't see it on there, so did our clerk not send it?
That's all I saw.
That's all right, yeah.
I'll touch base with her then, because that was
really
voted to
send it
do
in.
that as well, so I'll touch base with her and
Okay.
maybe nudge her a little bit to do that. That was my only question I had.
So you're looking at 1,000 tons, just so I know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with that and figure out what we need to do to fix some of the other roads.
No? Nothing? Anybody else? Got anything?
No.
I do, I got a question, I gotta ask this again. Allen Township, they're buying limestone, right?
Yes.
Ranger Power isn't in Allen Township,
In there.
They're both.
they're both,
Yeah.
but they're buying gravel, and I made the point of saying, well, I don't wanna see gravel put on Limestone Road.
We're not gonna, I'll talk to them.
Okay,
So if it's an existing limestone, they're gonna put limestone.
okay,
And if it's gravel, they're gonna use gravel.
okay,
And
okay.
there's one that you wanted to extend,
If
it's limestone.
the only one that's mentioned that is limestone is Sand Lake Road, because we put 1,000 tons on that mile a few years ago. But our stance on the Allen Township Board is we don't wanna use gravel anywhere. So if it comes to it, we'd like the opportunity to pay to put limestone on the other roads in Allen, on Cronk Road. If
So
they're
the one that
doing-
they're gonna do gravel, you pay the difference to
Pay
make
the
it
difference,
limestone?
yes, yes.
I can.
And then, Glasgow Road, that's another, it's not on the list, and so we need to check on that as well. And I would've thought they'd use Bean Road, but I drove down it, other than that culvert, it wasn't that bad, so.
Okay.
Because
I can ask them about it.
that'd be a road that they could use to put her over to, oh, hell, Bun Road, I think it runs through to Bun. And they've got projects on Bun Road too, so, just,
Yes, they do have a few roads in Allen, but a lot of them are in Fayette.
Okay,
yeah, most is Fayette.
alright,
We had a person in our meeting wondering about Jonesboro Road too, and I told him, I said, they're only doing in Fayette Township, you know, where their stuff's at there, it's like, from what I understood, it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
Well, they run them big trucks up down Jonesboro, I said, it's not all them that run that down there, so they're not obligated to pay for,
So we're gonna finish
So we'll go down
Jonesville,
through
come
there.
in to the east to 49.
huh?
We're gonna finish Jonesville, come
Yeah,
east
McLean
to
Road to
49.
49 probably.
And then we'll patch in some of them down there towards where they're working out, with the lay down yard and all that.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, we can stand adjourned. Thank you.